Hello everyone, I am Surabhi. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm answering a question asked by a mother. How do I make all the homeschool work, all the subjects so attractive and interesting for my kids so that they don't fight back so much? And also her concern that if you make everything attractive, how will they cope in the real life? Because in real life everything is not interesting, that kind of thing. And I probably don't have the perfect answer, but I have a lot of stories to tell because I have been homeschooling all these years and I have 2 kids, so I have double the amount of stories and double the amount of challenges I faced and how do I cope up with them. And still, it's happening in my life, so I just thought I'll share that part with you. So first few things about me, about my homeschooling thing is, one, we did Montessori till my kids were like 5, 6, 7 kind of age. So Montessori is like very organized, very colorful, very hands-on. And also when I'll set up a shelf of activities, if my child is not picking up something, I'm completely okay with it. I'll try for like a week or so. If she doesn't pick it up, I'll move that activity, maybe save it for later or just scrap it all over, considering my child is not interested. Second thing, it was a lot of effort, lot of night outs from my side to make DIYs or make things interesting. We will do addition using 4 to 5 manipulatives in different ways, in different kind of games and different kind of pictures, just to keep things interesting for my child. And also I did not force many subjects. If the child is not interested in Hindi, okay. We did phonics, and phonics is very interesting, logical, and a lot of play based, a lot of games are there. So I did all of that. But as I grew older, my physical limitations and also kids, we do not follow any curriculum. So I don't have an assignment to submit or a deadline or a month deadline, nothing. But I do create my own kind of, pick and choose kind of curriculum kind of thing. You've seen my previous videos. I just make a bundle of some activity sheets like for my kids, which all subjects are there. The point is that now as the kids are getting older, one thing, they are getting opinionated, and that's perfectly okay because now they have mind of their own. So they don't like it and they like it. And why do they need to do it? They ask a lot of whys. That's a real thing. Okay, that happens since my kids are like 7, 8. Yeah, one is 7, one is 8, so it's happening now. So yeah, it happens. Second thing is, kids are getting I would say subjects are increasing, right? So now it's not only maths, English. Now some part of history, some part of geography, some part of science, and which is not very easy. Also, some things are hard to understand concept-wise or logically also. Things are a little hard. Maths, which was simple addition, subtraction, now it's getting a little more like they're statement-based questions. It's not like you move these things and answer comes. No, it's not. Things are harder. With respect to kids, so yeah, so there are the challenges which I face with my kids day in and out, and I'll tell you my approach to different scenarios, what I do. So like, let's take the first scenario. When like I explained, my elder one, both kids liked okay maths, but as my elder one is growing, she's more into literature side. She's more into fiction world. She's more into Superman, superheroes, and magic and all those kind of things. She finds maths like least valuable in life. Like, why do we even need to study maths? And when it was addition, subtraction, it was easy to explain. We are dealing with the money. You go and buy something for me, you need to know how much money to give, how much less, and all those kind of things. But now when it's going to multiplication, that to big number multiplication, she doesn't have like why we need to learn the trick. Like, she's okay 8 into 6 and all. And also we do not do like cram the tables. We learn as our life goes. So when it goes to complicated number like 36 into 5, she needs to pause and think and then do it, and she doesn't like it because like she takes this much time to do it. It's like sheer wastage of time for her. Like, why are we doing it? And probably I'm not able to give her the real life scenarios as of now. We are trying. Like, my husband gave them a question, something which had 8 into 4 into 5, something like that. And that time she's like, oh, how I do it's a big number. And I was like, see, I told you, you need to learn the tricks of multiplication. Then only you can solve the big questions. But again, this is just one example where I just, somewhere I'll fit somewhere that why do we need to learn this kind of maths or a little heavier kind of maths, which she doesn't agree much. But I'm just telling you, trying to explain why we are doing things as much as possible so that they don't start fighting with us or don't keep grudges, because again, it's a long journey. It's not year 3 maths or year 4 maths I need to do. I need to do like long number of years in maths, and I don't want her to hate maths, but just trying to explain the real implications of maths helps them understand that why they are spending those 5 minutes on a question. That's all I'm trying to justify. So same thing goes for reading. My younger one, not at all interested in reading. She can read, but again, playing with phonics and making words there, or reading sight words and all, it's very interesting for her. She loves doing it, like fast, 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 fast. When it comes to reading one page of a book, she's like, oh my god, it's so boring and it's so hard, and she just get overwhelmed in a way. So again, what will I do? I told her, like, we need to, what is the importance of reading? She was like, why? We can listen to audio stories, podcast, and I know so much. But because probably she is kind of auditory learner, whatever science she knew because she saw it, or when I'm explaining to my elder one, she learned it. Same goes with little bit history, geography, whatever, to her level, she knew it. But it happened like, we have a game when we are traveling. I tell one story, another child will tell. That's how we kill time. So whatever story she will come up with, my younger one, I would have heard it because we listen to Google along with, we have small house, everybody listens to Google, the same story which everyone is listening. So then she's like, why I don't have so many stories like Didi? And I'm like, because Didi reads many more books which I have not read. So again, you read so much, or you build so much knowledge, or build so many stories, so that you're interesting. You have so much interesting stuff to tell people about, and it's okay if you don't want to tell, but then don't complain that why Didi knows it, because Didi reads much more than you. I also, so my husband is not a reader, but again, he knows so many stories of his real life. So I tell her that either you have real life stories or you have book stories. As of now, we all have book stories. Your father has real stories. You wait for building real stories, and that's how I try to convince her. But that somehow told her that, again, I am trying my level best to explain her why do we read and why should we read so much. Not so much, like why should we read books, which she doesn't agree much yet, but I'm just telling you my side of effort which I'm putting. The second thing I realized, that when kids were little, when they were doing Montessori, things were like, my kids would not fail. Montessori is self-correcting. If it doesn't fit here, it'll fit here. If it doesn't, so they would never have failure in Montessori things, Montessori activities. But when you're doing a worksheet, a cross means a cross. If this digit is wrong, your addition is wrong. And that was something which was very hard for both of my kids to see. Like, they don't like seeing like cross, or I circle this thing, this number you have to correct. So like, why this is wrong? And I'm like, because you did wrong. You have to fix it. And that thing was hard. That thing was very hard, that we do not want to see a circle on a sheet. I don't know if it's good or bad thing, but I'm just sharing. That's happened. And they were afraid of failing. So there are many things to work on here in a non-academic ways. One thing, getting them ready to, it's okay, it's wrong, it's fine, we can still fix it, right? It's okay, we'll try once again. Come, I'll sit with you. Okay, bring manipulatives, we'll do it once again. I'll tell you where you did wrong. That's one way of talking. Second thing, which is really getting very frustration level, like when she was doing multiplication, things will get really, really complicated. As I always suggest, if a child is not getting a concept, give it a break. Before it goes to like frustration level, stop here. You're a mother, you will know. You will really know when it's going to break. So pause there, push the subject away and don't do it for some days. Push the concept away and don't do it for some days. And probably when the child is little okay, bring it again. Don't keep fighting for a topic. And we did. I'll share in my curriculum thing. I'll make a video about it, what curriculum of maths we picked up for my elder one. And I'll tell you, we really went a step back and we just gave a pause and break to maths, because I don't want her to hate maths. Because again, it's a long game. It's not grade 3, grade 4. I want her to be okay with maths because it's a long game. So that's what I'll tell about my curriculum choices in some other video. But that's what we give a pause to subjects when we see they are not working out. And one more thing is, like, again, for maths or anything else, I try to find alternate ways to teach. Like for maths, again, we pick up manipulatives even at the age of 9, when the multiplication is not working or subtraction is not working, and I'm completely okay with it, that you don't need to do everything writing, like explaining step by step how you did this multiplication. You just bring me manipulatives, just see, do you get the concept, where the concept got wrong, and that's it. So that is how I because it's a fear of failure or fear of that cross or that circle which is pushing them away. So that's how I dealt with scenarios, and I still do, because there are many subjects we are dealing, right? So I take breaks, I make things interesting and different, and sometimes I just talk to them that it's okay to be wrong, it's okay, we'll fix it together. That's all I do. So when there's a lecture time also in our house. There's a lot of lecture my kids get from me, like when I know the things are not that hard, when I know things are not like, they're just bored. They're just bored because they feel there are a lot of interesting things to do. So when I get a lecture, no, when my girl told me last week, Mama, this is so boring. She was writing something and I said, it's so boring. And I told her, you know, I just cooked lunch. It was so boring. And I have to go wash utensils. That's very much boring. And doing your laundry, you know, how many clothes you have, and it's so boring. But what option Mama has? It has to be done because that is my job, that's my duty, that's my responsibility. So schooling is your responsibility, your duty, and you know, better get it done fast. See, the earlier I go and wash the utensils, I'll get done with them rather than just cribbing about it. It's so boring, it's so boring. So, you know, let's get done with it. And that is my go-to dialogue. Like, I repeat it like 2 or 3 times a week for sure, because it happens in my house. It's so boring. And this thing that, you know, this is so hard, Mama, why do you give me these hard questions? I get that often, especially, you know, I told you, multiplication, division, I'm getting it so often. And then we listen to a podcast. I told you, Big Life Kids podcast. There they talk about neurons. They talk about the challenges when the kids face challenges and things were hard. What did they do? So I refer to that podcast also like 5 to 6 times a week. I refer to it like, you remember what happened in that one? Remember that things got hard? What did he say? Take one step at a time. Let's do one question. Let's break it out. And things get hard, what will happen? You learn new things. If you keep doing easy things all your life, your brain, your neurons will not grow. And then you'll never become that intelligent, clever. So your neurons has to grow slowly, slowly, slowly. So we'll do slowly, slowly, fast things and hard things and challenging things. So that is a lecture time. So that is one way of approaching things, that I lecture a lot, but these are the contexts which I use. And then when my kids literally say that this is not interesting, like for Hindi, I don't know how to make it interesting. The reason is my elder one can read Hindi, but she doesn't find the Hindi literature, or it's still hard because she's used to reading English. So reading Hindi is pretty hard for her. She has to put a lot of focus and concentration there, like, okay, what does these 2 letters join in me? So when they don't find things interesting, I also feel that, you know, it is not worth my effort to make this subject interesting anymore for her. I lower my expectations in terms of, you know, what she should do or how much she should do. Again, telling that like Hindi, she's in grade 3, you know, she should be reading Hindi like left and right. I saw Hindi textbooks of CBSE and there's grammar and there's this and that. I have really lowered my expectations. Every single day she writes a Hindi sentence for me on the whiteboard, and that's it. We still, you know, matraon mein galti hoti hai, but I'm okay. You just write 1 Hindi sentence per day for me. Sometimes I write a Hindi sentence and she reads to me, and that's it. So because I want her to learn Hindi, but again, we have the flexibility of homeschooling. She doesn't have to write an exam next year for Hindi, and I want her to learn because it's her mother language. I really want her to learn. There's so much to read in Hindi. I mean, like, my go-to reason to read any language is to read the literature in that language, honestly. So I really want her to learn Hindi so that she can read those Hindi books which I have grown up with. So but she doesn't need to read those books now or this year. So even if she's progressing very slowly in Hindi, I'm pretty okay with it. And that's what I say, where I've lowered my expectations in terms of subjects or expectation from my child. So that way, I mean, I cannot make it more interesting, and yeah, it's okay, don't fight about it. So again, it's picking up your battles and making sure that this homeschooling or even learning is a long-term journey. They should not hate learning, they should not cry while learning, but again, not making everything easy, but, you know, talk it out. That's why I talk a lot in this house. During schooling, without schooling, we talk a lot about things, and that's how it's rolling in our house. So it's not perfect, but just sharing my story, how we roll about are not boring, interesting and hard, and just all kind of subjects and all kind of schoolwork. So share your stories. How do you motivate your kids to keep learning in their life? And thank you for listening to me. See you later. Bye bye.